Yes, thing is, I've been trying to change up my Zoom setup. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, it's all
Oh,
good.
perfect. Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to do my Zoom setup. I've got this camera. I'm trying to use it as like a webcam, but apparently I'm not young enough to understand how technology works. So I'm
No, no,
still trying to figure it out. But yeah, all right, guys, welcome to the Muscle Mastermind podcast. I've got Joshua here, Mr. What It Do, Conte. How do I say your last name?
Conde. Yeah, Conde is
Conde,
the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So we've got Joshua. He's an online coach. I've been following him with a few of the athletes because I know a few of the athletes I works with personally. That would be Lay and James. I know on the other side he does his coaching. His bio says three-dimensional coach. I see that. I was thinking that's pretty smart. I'll probably get into that three-dimensional, see what you mean. But I saw it, I was thinking, should I copy him? Nah, I'll let him lead the way with this one and see how it goes with it. But it's kind of pretty smart. In my head, when I saw three-dimensional coach, I'm guessing you're talking online, one-to-one training and something else. I'm guessing, is that? Yeah, so that was what my mind was rapping about. But yeah, we
That's
have,
one of the ways. Well, I'll tell
okay,
you the
cool.
other side of it as well. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. You might as well start with that. We've got Joshua here and he's gonna tell us what three-dimensional coaching means to kick off.
Yes. So yeah, I mean that is definitely one of the ways. Obviously, in regards to what I do offer, obviously, I still do personal training with some only a select few of clients at the moment, where I meet them one to one out in Pure Gym, London Oval, because that's the gym I rent out of at the moment. And with my online side of things as well, I've got an online group community as well I work with. So kind of like group coaching, and then as well your one-to-one personal online coaching as well.
Sure.
Um, However, in regards to the other side of things as well with three-dimensional coaching, it's literally the belief and kind of like the vision of Game Brain Fitness, where it all started for me 8 years ago, which is just knowing that it's a lot more than just when it comes to your body, just being the physical side of things, when you're trying to transform your physique or, just literally trying to develop your physique in any way, whether it's building muscle, fat loss, or just a combination of the same and so on. I mean, for me, I see it as it takes just more than just seeing it in one view. I see it as it's got to be body, spirit, mind. Those things all in correlation need to be all together right there. And that's where I
That's
felt
smart.
a lot of people kind of like fall off because, the body it might be so much focus with the body with things. They can push hard and this is that, but mentally, they're not really prepared for what needs to come, what needs to be done, what they need to, pull back on. And then spiritually as well, because it takes a lot of faith to take things on, especially when you have no idea what's happening, and I think that's
Yeah,
what a
for
lot of
sure.
people aren't really prepared on that.
Speaking on, what's so crazy? My first question, you kind of segued into that perfectly because I was speaking to my little brother and I was asking him because he's into gym. I was asking him, what would you want to find out from like a coach? And this was yesterday, and he was just like, how do you, let me paraphrase the question to you, how do you figure out what type of client you have in terms of, you're not trying to talk about, like, I mean, I don't know how to word it like word for word, but you have certain clients that rather go on their own and do things, and you have certain clients that would rather have you there and do stuff, and then you have clients in between that they just don't know where they're going. So it's kind of weird. So how do you? Because I know every personal trainer, a year, 10 years, you always come across the guys that can do it alone, the guys that really need help, and then the guys that are kind of lost if they want to go forward, if they have the mental strength to actually like stick to what's going on in terms of intensity and things like that. So how do you kind of like how do you atone to those kind of people? How do you like put yourself forward to people who don't know that this is what they want at the moment yet?
So I mean, right off the bat, I think the main thing is a lot of this is actually I don't try and dictate too much of that. All right, I try to basically go from what like the person is giving me. So in regards to, for example, it starts off with inquiry, of course. If someone's interested in working with me, straight off, they should be off the back of something like my Instagram or whatever they see me do. They should
Yeah.
have an idea of how I work, basically.
Okay.
And then that's what really my Instagram page is all about. It really is. It should be an eye opener for anyone who's thinking, how does Joshua do what he's do? What is he really like? Who does he work with? that kind of stuff. I mean, that's essentially my portfolio. It should be a way so for people to have an idea of what you do there. And I'm a strong believer that, you know, you kind of attract what you yourself, you know, portray and what you bring out, you know, and for me, it's kind of like a reflection there. So from there, usually right off the bat, most inquiries, people are like interested in, okay, you know, I've really been struggling with fat loss, or really struggling to grow certain areas of my physique, or I possibly might want to do a photo shoot one day, that kind of stuff, to even ones who want to compete. However, like I said, it still progresses with that, because I've had clients who they started with me with just fat loss. 3 years down the line, they want to compete now, you know, that kind of thing. So it also develops.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, I think it always starts with, it's not really, yes, obviously I have a target group in that for my marketing and so on.
Yeah.
But it really still boils down to, you know, whatever I'm reflecting there. And, you know, yes, I know some clients, you have some clients who literally, they can just feel like they just want something written. However, I don't really attract that, because if you know me, like you spend a few minutes with me, you know, I like to be involved in the journey with you. You know, it's not a case of you just going out on your own. So that's just the main thing for me. All right.
I feel you on that one. Okay, so here's my follow-up to that. Because I like to nitpick on details and stuff. So obviously you've been working with a few people, I guess a certain amount of people over time. First question would be, how long does it take for you to actually figure out that, okay, cool, this guy or this girl may not be a long-term client? How long is there signs that you're looking at that people can, is there signs, is there involuntary signs that people don't like forget to check in and stuff? Like, you know, everyone has their own timetable kind of thing. Is there signs like that you think, okay, we can work on this? And then is there signs that you're saying, okay, cool, 1 or 2 more of this kind of sign and it's not going to go the way Joshua wanted it to go? So is there anything that you can point out for people who are?
So yeah, I mean, I think the main, I can't affect what you're asking. I think obviously, just to break it down a bit better, is in regards to being in the sense of someone who's going to continually like work with you and actually try and, you know, follow the program and so on, rather than someone that you just feel like is just probably just wants a, you know, 12 weeks, that kind of thing, short term, and then they're good and happy to go.
Not even 12 term, like not even 12 weeks, sorry, like, I don't know, like let's say they do pay because, you know, you ask for payment ahead of something.
People like fall off. You mean those kind of people that
the people that fall off, what signs are you looking at? Okay, this guy is not going to make the 4-week mark. Yeah, go on. What
got you now. Got you now. No, so the main thing for me is it is always, it's still like, again, the first few signs you notice is how much are people invested into what, you know, they're actually being given now. You know, they've made the first step, they got in touch with me. From there, we've had our consultation and everything. And then from there as well, they've actually made a payment, they're good to go. You know, this kind of, you know, they're really, they've had them some thoughts about it, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. Then what I'm looking at is, it's now just from there, just little things, because my process in setting up clients, I need to get a lot of details from them. So it's how quickly they're going to start sending those kind of things to me. You know, we set up a vision call, like literally it's probably going to take an hour where I really dig deep into their day-to-day, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How keen are they to set up that call? You know, it might be some of them who are like, in 2 weeks time or whatever. Then I kind of tell. And you got someone like, you free now, Josh? Like, can you do it now, coach? I'm like, okay, really on it. Progress pictures. You know how people are. Their first stop progress pictures. A lot of people are very, you know, a bit shy about that and everything. But then, you know, I can tell some people, I'm like, all right, I need progress pictures. Finish the call, literally 2 seconds later, my WhatsApp, I've already got their first set of progress pictures. And I got people, I'm chasing them. I'm like, I can't finish the program set up. I don't even know what you look like, your physique, you know, that kind of thing. So those are the little signs. Then of course it can change. It doesn't mean that's it in stone. They're always going to be like that, and this person's probably not going to go on. No, again, it stems from the relationship there. And this is why I always tell people there is always going to be a coach for a different coach for a client. You know, there is no such thing as me being the only coach for the world. That's not going to happen. Because as much as I think I might be able to relate to people, I can't relate to everyone. And
Yeah.
coaching is a relationship, you know, coaching
It
client
is.
is a relationship.
Yeah. You're on that one. Speaking of
And, you
relationships,
know, I don't, if there's someone who is not really communicating fully with me. Yeah.
okay, so communication. So what I've got from there, can you hear me properly? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear
got
me?
you now. Got you.
Yeah, cool. So I think what I've got was clients need to take initiative. If they take initiative, then it shows that they're ready to do the work. I think that's the first thing. And secondly, will be communication. Okay, that's cool. We're speaking of relationships. Let's just come out of that quickly. I saw the little on the left finger. Come on, man. Come on, man. Where's the ring? Put the ring.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if you can you give me 1 second, by the way? I think that my reception is messing me up.
Okay,
My
cool. Yeah,
reception
sure.
is messing me up right now. Can you give me 1 second? Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how's
Speaking
the relationships? Yeah.
of yeah, I was just literally I'm now in the room where has the better Wi-Fi because the wife has just left. So speaking of who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
So how long have you known your wife for now?
so we first met back in 2016 was when we first met. And we've been married now for 2 years now. 2020 was when we got married.
Congrats. During lockdown.
Yes, obviously was not the plan, but thanks to God, you know, we're still able to do it. We had to also split our kind of wedding reception. So we got married in the church in what's it called 2020, but then we did the reception in 2021 just simply because of the numbers. No way we could do the whole 30 people rule when it was 2020. So yeah, because we had about 250 guests, so not gonna happen.
What's life like 2020? So when did you start coaching quickly?
So online coaching has been literally since 2015 now.
2015. Okay. So from 2015 to 2016, you met your 2016. You met your wife.
My wife now.
Okay. So how was business within the early stages of you getting to know your wife? Did you kind of know that she was going to be your wife? Was there any kind of pressure to upskill the business? Talk to me as a, like, where I like to think entrepreneurial, like, right? I'm business minded. So for me, I'm always thinking like, not so much 5 years down the line, but like 2-3 months down the line, what I really need to accomplish by those times, kind of thing. So I like to like really zone in and like really go all in, which is weird. I feel like a nerd when I do those kind of things. But you just seen this girl 2016. You're just building up online coaching. Online coaching probably wasn't popping as much in 2015. You know, I don't even think Instagram fitness was a thing. It could have been, but it wasn't a big thing. Not after lockdown. So 2015, 2016, you just met this girl and business hand in hand. Did you introduce yourself as like, hey, I'm a fitness coach, yada, or was it kind of like, or was it just cool? How was it?
So yeah, I mean, this again going into my background. So back in 2016, I was not full time at the time, so it was something I was just doing on the side because literally again. So give you a bit more background on myself. 2013, 2014, I was kind of that person where a lot more people were asking me for advice on things, and I was like, man, look, go work with this person. That's the person I worked with. Or this is the person that's currently mentoring me. I've been lucky to be mentored other people like Neil Hill back in the past. You know, a lot of other people in the industry I've met as well who have been able to teach me a few things, going to a lot of seminars and so on. And obviously at the time, it was just about me, my fitness goal. I wasn't really trying to work with anyone or anything or help someone. Then it got to the stage where like through too many, like a lot of inquiries, I was like, you know what, let me just see if I can help people here. Didn't take any money. I was like, literally, look, just a handful of people. Like, what do you need help with? Let me see if I can help, that kind of thing. And from there, it just kind of grew to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I've always had a kind of interest in this, you know, and way back when I was, you know, in uni and everything, I decided to say no to it because I didn't think there was much money in the industry of fitness and so on.
Of course, yeah.
Much as I like training and everything, I was like, nah, stick to my business degree, that kind of thing. So went into, you know, business and sales and everything. So at the time I met my wife in 2016, I was still working full time at a company and managing management at a company. And so I introduced myself as that, you know, and plus I also do coaching on the side kind of thing.
Okay.
You know?
Got an extra
So
dog.
it was literally just something on the side there. And then to the point where I remember, again, answering your other question, did I know she was the one? Well, definitely not. No.
Hey, all right.
Like 2016, 2017, it was literally, as when I met her, was when I was pretty much, I was like a year and a bit into coaching side of things. Was also looking to start doing like some like qualifications as well. So at that time was mainly through, you know, getting a NASM qualification in personal training and then getting an online coaching one as well. And yeah, I can remember it now, I think it was towards the end of 2017 was when I first had that serious conversation with her, just letting her know that this is kind of like where it seems to be going right now. And again, one of the main things that connects me and my wife is both our passion for, you know, in regards to our relationship with God as well. So, you know, I just let her know, like, look, this is how I'm feeling. I feel confident that this is something that God's leading me towards. And she was just like, look, I've got nothing against it. I'm so far from what I can see here, you know, I'm not getting any objections in regards to like, it seems like I shouldn't be with you or anything. I'll fully support you. So, you know, from there, we were like, this is cool. That's it there. And obviously, you know, she'll say otherwise, but it's kind of the first steps of us knowing that we thought we'll probably be together for a good period of time. Like we're probably going to get married and so on.
You know, before we move forward, you said just before you kind of got in, you decided to take it seriously, you had people messaging you for advice and tips and that. What do you think was the reason why they were messaging you for tips? What was going on in that 2014, 15 time?
It was literally just the fact that I was actually starting to make progress myself. That was the first main thing there. And also, it was at a time where I remember, because I was just posting my physique and stuff like that. Not too many people were really doing that back then.
Yeah.
And then one thing that really did kind of push things on the edge was back in, gosh, is that 2014, Bodypower. First up, met up with a lot of the Gymshark guys, so like Matt August, Nathan, all these guys there, and I actually like took some pictures with them and stuff like that. And some, as you know, with social media, some things can go viral without even you knowing, and that happened to me. So yeah, literally off the back of that, and also just again being in your own gym, kind of like that whole slightly bigger fish in a small pond. You know, I'm not saying I'm big, but I just kind of looked, you know, again, people. I literally would, you know, I'm not going to lie, I was getting gas, you know, I was literally getting a lot of compliments. This is that. Everyone's like, damn, this guy's ripped, yet he's muscular. This is that. Although when I look back at it now, I laugh because I'm like, gosh, I was
you know what's so funny? Yeah, 2015. What was I doing in 2015? Like the way fitness is right now, I don't think it was like that prior, because 2015, any guy with six packs could sell you. You could, bro, it could swindle you for your house keys and say, look, give me your bank card, give me everything, and you get this six pack tomorrow. I guarantee it. That's how we looked at like six packs. It wasn't even in like bodybuilding. We was just in the midsection.
No. Hey, Ronaldo had six packs. Everybody was like, yeah, just follow what Ronaldo does. This is that.
It's so crazy. But yeah, I was speaking to Sem Flex. So it's close friends.
Great physique, by the way. Quick shout out to Sem. Great work this year. Honestly, I have to say that.
Honestly,
look forward to meeting you one day in person, Sem, as well. But
listen, I'm telling you, I think he reminds me of Sergey Nabet or whatever that guy's name is.
Sergey Nabet.
Yeah. So let me just pull it up as I'm talking. So we're literally talking about we're talking about volume training and just intensity in general. And I was trying to figure out like where did people stop training with like volume? And I think he said I think people stopped after COVID. And I kind of took a minute to think about, okay, what is he talking about? But then I realized when everyone took like a year, 2 years off training, everyone was kind of like, oh, well, let me baby step into the gym back, if that makes sense. So even me, like, I know within the first 6 months, 7 months of going into the gym, there was loads of exercises that I forgot, you know, like just in general, that's just kind of crept off the back of your mind. Like some of those exercises you don't even see anymore. Like, and it's just weird. But then when you mentioned COVID and all this kind of stuff, and I was thinking, actually, yeah, that might be true. What's your positioning on or what's your philosophy on volume? It doesn't have to be like, oh, volume is this and intensity is this. Just your philosophy. Everyone has their own philosophy of, because that's what makes bodybuilding great. I think it's to do with
Yeah.
science and logic. You know, the logic is based off of
Yeah.
your experience on how your body works, and the science is just shit that you can't. It's just 2 + 2. You know, so off of that, what's your philosophy on volume training and intensity or 1 rep max kind of training?
Now, completely agree with you. There is more than one way to skin a cat, especially when it comes to this game, when it comes to building your physique and bodybuilding. And this is another reason why, even with myself, I keep telling people I'm constantly learning. I am still paying for different seminars, different qualifications. It's something I literally put money aside for every year to ensure I'm reinvesting back in my, in my business, which is educating myself even more. And I think, again, the other key thing as well is, yes, there's all the science in the world, but also the practical is important, not just on yourself, but also with clients. And again, with over the years now, with the 7+ years now, I've been doing this, you do get to learn a lot more things with actually having more people to work with as well. But when it comes to training, for me, I think the first main thing for me is the foundation of things has to be there, in the sense of, do you even know what a good quality set looks like? What is a good quality set, basically? And this is something for all my clients, we just focus on the first off. That's the main thing. I don't even want to throw intensity into there. I don't even want to throw, the amount of, these what's it called? You call the intensifiers, like drop sets and this is that, the rest period, this kind of technique with the rest pause and everything. None of that. I mean, just literally, okay, let's just break it down. Here's the exercise. What is a good quality set going to look like in regards to actually producing some hypertrophy, actually targeting the muscle group and going to help grow the muscle? What is that going to look like? And for me, that's where it starts from: your form, your execution. And one thing I always tell all my clients is we're trying to have basically what we call a strong, good quality rep after another. That's what a set is, basically. So if I've given them a rep range of 6 to 9 or 12 to 15, it's more like I want you to focus in that set on each rep being strong, good quality that we've discussed, we've established. I've already looked at some of your clips. I'm already giving you some feedback. And this is what now we believe is what a good rep looks like. Now we just want to replicate that as many as possible in a set with that weight we're using. And from there, we just go. That's how it is,
Okay.
Because then I also notice a lot. Go on, sorry, man.
Just to back on that. So essentially, when you're talking about, for yourself, you feel like there's a lot to learn in general, but when you're looking at a client, your starting base point anytime in general is, okay, go do dumbbell bench press, film that, and film what you think is a working set for you and come back to me. And then in your sense, you're going to look at his form, and I guess you're going to try to guess his rate of perceived exertion off of that with the weight as well, if it's something that works well with that. And is that where you're working from?
Yeah, and obviously, first off, they will have in the program, with the video tutorial as well. It's all there, with each exercise. So they will get to see what I want them to get. But again, not too many people are very good at interpreting that straight away. So, and again, going back to, like you said, the clients who are full on, they're all in, they're fully invested, no matter what, whether they're quick at picking things up or not. Again, it's the fact that actually filming the sets. You get some people, it takes them 2 weeks before they start filming something. You're like,
yeah, for sure.
How are we going to start establishing that foundation that we need right there? But yeah, so even the programming and the training app, they've got the video in there, they've got the explanation. I'm really trying to give them an idea of what rep range, what the rate perceived exertion should be at and everything. but I need to first of all see, those first ones, and then we can work off of that.
Makes sense.
But yeah, 100%. I'm not. There is no strict, must be all out volume, especially for certain body parts. I am not strict on. It's all about, just literally this specific rep range. I'm a firm believer of being strong in all rep ranges. Most likely not 1 to 3, because I only have one power lifter though. So yes, I do have one guy who does do those areas, but 3, aside from that, everybody else is pretty much physique development. So I rarely have anyone focusing in the 1 to 3 rep range, but I have some people working up to 40 reps on certain things because why not? It's just something, again, why not get strong in that as well? Because I truly believe if you get strong in all these rep ranges, you're recruiting a lot of muscle fibers that need to be used in doing that kind of work. And it's like, why not? More the merrier there.
I feel you. Okay. So you don't necessarily follow like a set let's say rep range or set training type in that sense, right? So if you have a client that's come up to you and said, listen, Josh, I hardly gain weight, I eat as much as I can, I want to put on muscle mass, what comes to your mind first? How are you trying to decipher that situation or that client situation? And in your head, based off of your experience, like what's the first thing that your mind goes to?
So just sorry, man, you kind of
I'll bring it back. So I struggle to put on size.
Yeah.
I eat a lot.
Yeah.
I want to gain mass. Yeah. Which is kind of like the typical
very typical, yeah.
Hard gainer conversation. Yeah. So how do you move forward from there?
First thing is, what exactly are you say you eat a lot. What is it a lot? Like, what is that? I need to actually know, because right off the bat now, as it's a very popular question, usually the first thing we notice is the big problem is they have no idea how much they really eat. Yeah. I know some people are like, I'm eating loads, and you finally track it all, and it's 2,000 calories.
2001 max.
2001. And I'm like, mate, I've got bikini competitors who are eating more than you, and not even during off season. I'm talking even during on prep, and it's like, come on, like, what are you doing here? You're 6'1" and you're talking about I'm struggling to grow. I'm like, 2,100 calories. No, like that's usually the first thing I'll go to, because that's usually the first breakdown. Then the second thing as well is, again, consistency. You know how it is. A lot of people expect, I've done 2 weeks, I've done 2 months in the gym. Surely by now I should see ridiculous, results. And because they don't see it, because of, again, just matching expectations with reality, what they're doing, it's actually been good quality, what they've been doing as well. Do they even have any good, does the programming suit what they want, all that kind of stuff. But because they didn't get that quick result they wanted, that's it. I'm done for now. And then, they kind of have a week off kind of thing, and then, or a couple of weeks off, and then another week.
You know what?
Like, now I'm back on, and it's just always that stop.
Yeah, because even me, sometimes, like, I'm kind of like, I painted that picture, but that's kind of where I'm at, if I'm honest. But I eat a lot and I track my shit, so I'm on the 2,000.
I know.
I'll shoot.
I know. I can tell you on your stories. Yeah, I know you need to eat.
Yeah, so I'm eating everything at the moment right now. But the tough part is it's more like kind of recomposition, if that makes sense. Like, you see my legs, I have loads of size in my legs, but then my upper body, like my chest, my everything is not as, like, usually you want bigger upper body compared to the lower body, just to an extent, especially if you have like large lower, like my lower body, like my thighs are so huge, like I feel like I need to be double the size that I am on my way up, so it fits perfectly, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you right now though, you'd be surprised though, but actually in just actually, you want the legs to be slightly bigger, just so you know. Just so you know.
Well, my legs are,
because I know what you mean though, but it's the right, it has to be a right balance though, because again, it depends on the physique. And again, this is where, as always, even with me as a coach, as much as I might just say, look at physique and this is that, it's going to whatever it is. So this is someone who's competing, again, I'm looking at what federations they're working with, they're looking to compete at. And I'm now thinking, like, how do the judges, what do they like to see? And every federation is still different. As much as everybody thinks there's one look that everybody prefers, like you said right there are some other federations where they're all about the freakish body part, you know? It's not even about balance. They're just like a freakish thing. Like, so someone's got crazy arms, you know, and everything else is all right. You know, just because of that crazy arms and that wow factor, they kind of like that. But then there's some federations that are like, it has to be completely balanced. Not even one over the other kind of thing. So yeah, it differs. But yeah, no, I mean, I completely get you, man. And again, this is where you're going into where, yes, as someone who is actually eating enough, training is also, you know, in regards to, they have a good understanding to how to train and so on. Then this is where I'll start looking at their programming and they're breaking down of things, because yes, we all have stubborn areas. We all have areas that is going to be lagging than the other. You know, genetically, we just seem to put on muscle in certain areas quicker than others as well too. But then there's a lot of things around the training programming that a lot of people miss out on too. Even things like where we get so tunnel vision with things. So it's like, I really want to grow my arms. So it's just like, okay, I'm just going to tack on arm day every day, stuff like that. Are you actually now looking at the big picture, which is how do you recover from certain things? You know, it's not about, yes, your arms recover quickly enough, but then, you know, really and truly, if you're doing it every day, doesn't mean you're actually giving it the right intensity in the session, that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. You know,
and then even things like, again, I've spoken to people where, you know, they really want to try and bring up their back, and then they're programming back day right after leg day because they're so focused on that back day. They're just thinking about how many times they're trying to get in the week. But I'm like, look at the big picture here. You're always doing back after leg day. Aren't you completely taxed out after the leg day? You know, like maybe if you're prioritizing back, shouldn't you have that rest day in between? And then you can be fully ready for back day, and then you can go into it.
Smart.
You know, these kind of little things I look at. And people don't even know that. You know, even things like having a push before back. People might think, oh, that's nothing with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But then for someone who's struggling with lats, sometimes you don't even notice this. But when you're doing push, because you're, again, with your priming and everything, with pull-up pushing movements and everything like that, your lats can take a bit of a hit, and you're not really ready to then connect with it that next day all the time. You know, that kind of thing. This is where, like, again, I've made those mistakes too, but then also I've been able to work with some great mentors and people. Like Callum is someone who pointed that kind of thing out to me, where, again, just looking at that bigger picture of the actual programming.
That's what you're saying. Just to add on to that, experience wise, because my lat is a big issue, right? And what I ended up doing was, because I got so like tunnel vision in, the lats must grow, you know. The legs are there already, the lats must grow. That's what that matters. What end up happening is you start sacrificing a lot of compound movements for isolation movements, because you think, oh, you know, that's what I want to do the whole session. All these, that's what, you know, that you sacrifice compound movements, you sacrifice other body parts as well, because then, oh, today has to be, you know, like you said, putting in back in certain areas. Okay, cool, because I'm only doing lats, I want to train my lats 3 times a week. You know what I'm trying to say?
You want more frequency.
So you just fuck up your whole kind of like, I guess, rhythm, just because of that one body part, you know. And the guy that I'm working with right now is like, don't ever say you have a weakness. I was like, my lats, look at them. It's like, nah, don't ever say you have a weakness. Just say there's lagging parts you want to work on, and that's it. Like, so he was kind of telling me on the mindset side, like, you don't have a weakness. And on like the bigger picture scale, you end up sacrificing, what I did anyway, sacrifice the compound. Like, I took out the underarm rolls, I took out deadlifts, not on purpose, but just I wanna get the lats going, you know. So yeah. That's something.
This is the thing as well, because again, like you just said there, sometimes we get so caught up because we're trying to just really that little one thing and feel like we need to problem solve. But like you said, you might then even be taking stuff out that has been a good bread and butter for you, but you didn't even notice it, you know, until when you missed it, that kind of thing. And this is why, again, like I said, I can't tell people machines is the only way, cables is the only way, free weights is the only way, compounds only. Again, it still depends on the individual, and it's always going to be a combination of different things there.
Well, before we get, I have one main point I wanted to talk about. So in terms of training styles, and I know what you're going to say to this. It's a clear yes, but I feel like a lot of people, like we have bodybuilders and we have general fitness people, right?
Of course.
And for me, I find it weird when I'm trying to voice my post on Instagram, right? Because I feel like I'm talking to bodybuilders, even though like 99% of my followers, they don't even know what a front lat spread is, or front relax. They have no clue. So in my head, I'm trying to talk to them as a bodybuilder. So it gets a bit confusing when all these general fitness people, when all they see is bodybuilders and they take in their training methods, the one thing that they forget to add into the calculation is off season and on season training, and I'm sure it definitely varies for you when you're training. Like for example, James off season in terms of volume and intensity is completely different to what he's doing when he's actually, prepping for an actual show, if that makes sense. So this is something that I kind of picked up when I was watching like some of the old, when I'm doing my research on YouTube and stuff. And I think someone just said, when bodybuilders are in the off season, they're not training 5-6 times a gym session. They're usually probably going to try to do that maybe 2 sessions closer to peak week, if that makes sense, with the volume or wherever it is. There's more volume off after off season in that sense. And then what people tend to confuse is, okay, cool, Arnold, they say Arnold's training twice a day, 2 hours of, we've all heard that, but little did they know that that was closer to, that that's seasonal mode, if that makes, I don't know what you guys call it, season training. There's off season, but there isn't an on season. Prep season, prep mode,
prep mode, prep season.
Yeah, okay, cool. When they're in prep season, in that sense. So, I just want, what is like a typical off season training, and what is like a prep season training? Like, just give me like a, let's say back workout, for example, off season, prep season.
So again, right off the bat, you'd be a bit surprised actually, because it's a very good thing you asked me this question, because, and James will probably let you know too, it's I actually am a strong believer there shouldn't be too much of a difference.
Okay.
All right. Again, and this is again just with the science and everything and all that, and then also with the practical and everything side of things, I'm a strong believer on whatever built it, all right, should be what you do to keep it. All right. So if in the off season, for example, you said a back workout, okay, a typical back day for this so-called bodybuilding client has been doing, starts off with his a little bit of hamstrings, because we're trying to bring up hamstrings as well. So some working sets on hamstrings. From there, he's gone into his big compound deadlifts, done his deadlifts. Now he's going to a single arm lat rolls, trying to get the lats engaged. From there, we do some rows, some actual row movement down again. We move on to a pullover, again, a bit more of the lats there. Then we go to an upper back row there, get a bit of upper back there. So like a T-bar, chest support, that kind of thing. And then after that, finishing the day on pull-ups, because yes, we're exhausted, but again, we still want to be able to do some body weight work as well with the pull-ups, because I always feel like those kind of movements should always still be in there, dips and pull-ups, that kind of thing. So that's the typical back day in the off season. On prep, do the exact same thing. Like that's what I'm a strong believer of, because
are we talking same reps, same set, everything?
So this is what I'm saying. Yes, pretty much. However, the difference might be, now this is where it differs when it comes to competition prep. We got to also remember in competition prep, what is the main goal? We're trying to at least make it to the stage, aren't we? If we don't get there, i.e. we're injured, we're just completely ruined, exhausted, whatever, we can't showcase our best anyways. So what can happen is, yes, and this is something funny enough, is literally James just got the message from me that this is the week we do this. We now start to de-volume. So take away some of the volume, some of the work rate. Still the same exercise pretty much, but we're then going to take a few sets from here. So for like example, James is now under strict instructions, no more than 1 set on deadlifts. He ain't doing 2, 3, 4 sets on deadlifts. Why? Because where his body is right now, as he's so depleted, as we're really taking as much fat as we can, those last bits, he's like his body's on the edge. Like it can either go either way. So if he's now trying to do all the crazy stuff he normally does in the off season and more, most likely he's just gonna tip over. Injury could happen. His body gets so fatigued that we can't even get him full again for the stage and everything, all those kind of things. And this is where people get it a bit wrong. So yes, definitely when you're in prep, there's certain points, and it's usually when you're getting closer to the stage when energy is really low and we can't bring it back up with food because we're trying to, again, load you up later on. That's when we'll probably take away some of the volume. But we don't have to do things like going to the gym twice a day just for the sake of we want to get frequency up or that kind of thing. Again, this is where I feel like a lot of people need to try not to overcomplicate things too much, you know, because at the end of the day, we grow when we are in a calorie surplus.
Yeah.
Competition prep, we're not in a calorie surplus no more. So we need to kind of understand, as much as we're trying to really push still, get, you know, which you can do, of course, it's up here mentally. Why not? You can still do it. At some point, though, you got to be realistic and go, hey, all right, it's not about all gas anymore. Let's now just not put brakes, but let's coast a bit, because there's nothing I can do right now to change my physique in 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks time for the stage. I'm going to be bringing my best by me actually making sure my body recovers, you know, lets the nutrients do its work and everything. And then from there, we can now have a fresh physique, which is giving me a better chance to actually showcase my best. You know, that's it there. Like, you're not going to get more shredded from the workout, basically, put it that way. All right. That's where it happens there.
Okay, cool. So how old are you now? How long have you been training for, should I say?
So in regards to how long I've been training, this is plus 15 years now. I've been training for
15 years. Okay,
15
cool.
years.
So in the last 10 to 15 years, if you used to give 2 tips on mistakes that you made as a I want to say bodybuilder, but as a let's say to increase your fitness levels, because that's more, you know,
fitness
that's
level,
more
just trainer in general. Yeah, just
two mistakes that you made coming up. I would say 4 or 5, but I feel like the 2 you pick would be very significant. So I think less is more on that one. Whilst you think of it, I'm just gonna try to give my one off the bat, just so you can, because your answer matters more than mine. So the first mistake that I think I made was, and I'm 50-50 about it, but I hardly ate when I was training. Now, what did that do for me? I'm not too sure. I feel like it added the lines that I have in terms of muscle quality, I think, personally, or it could just be the supersets that I was doing. And I think not eating and supersets added it up. I'm not too sure. But if I could eat more during my training and keep the supersets, that would be one of my mistakes. So definitely to eat more, because I hardly ate. That would be the first one. And the second one would be to stretch, because Josh, on everything I own, I can't do a double back. I can't do a double bicep for my arms to go past my scapula. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm anyone watching this now, I'm dead serious stretch, because them posing will fuck you up. You think it's muscle and you think it's breathing. Wait till your muscle don't want to move past where you want it to move, and you don't want to twist that extra and flex. Yeah, so stretching and eating, it sounds so basic, but that's where I'm at right now, I think.
Definitely. I think for me, on the eating side of things is definitely one of them. And that's just because, again, because a lot of people might not know it, but my background was getting into fitness because I just wanted to lose weight. That was my number one goal, to lose weight. Going from obese to trying to just lose weight, that was my main thing. So because of that mentality, when I brought that into what you call bodybuilding, because I was trying to, grow my physique again, it was very hard to understand that I now needed to really eat and train, allow literally, especially as someone who's natural, you only have 2 tools, well, mainly 3, which is food, the training, and your rest, your sleep, your recovery. Those are your 3 main things. And now if I'm purposely neglecting one of them, I was literally doing so much work with one big ingredient missing there for a lot of years, because I was afraid. I was just personally afraid of eating again. It was tough. I've done so much work to lose weight on the scale.
Yeah, now you go eat.
Exactly. But now I wanted to change how I looked, because I was like, okay, this is a bit messed up, because I thought if I lose the weight, I'll look like this. But then I finally realized, oh no, you actually need to train muscles. Oh, great. Okay, I have to do that now. But how do I build muscle without the food? So that was very tough. And I think that's why, I remember back in 2013, my Instagram name was Keep It Lean, because I was trying to stay lean 24/7. I didn't want to Like no matter what happened, I didn't want to, you know, get fat again or anything. So I spent a lot of time where I probably lost a lot of muscle mass because I was just trying to not get fat again. So yeah, that was probably one of my biggest mistakes, which is definitely you got to eat. And especially you young guys, anyone who is below 22 years old, all right, you know, if you're just you really getting the bug for bodybuilding, getting the bug for training now and everything and trying to build muscle, please eat the food and train hard, because honestly, and like you look at James right now, there's so many other crazy juniors right now making a scene in bodybuilding.
Hey, James is not.
Look at Sam as well. All these kind of people. That's because they at least eat and for a good period of years, and they were training together at the same time.
No, Sam was with me because he was in he was in South Africa, and he wasn't able to eat as well. Obviously, not because he couldn't, but food prices were a bit different.
That's different, yeah.
So,
but
but
but James, at some point he would at least make sure he could.
Now he's there.
Whereas like for me, it's not that it wasn't there. The food was there. I was just so scared of it, you know. So I was like, let me not do that. So yeah, that's the first big one. And the second big mistake I made on my side of things was I think that because again of the pressure of some of the goals I put on myself, there were definitely times I lost enjoyment, you know, in the process. And when you don't enjoy something fully, even though I was still getting things done, which was a chore, you know, and I'm not even talking about I was competing. I wasn't even competing then. I was far from it at this time, which is again is weird. Like I enjoyed things more as a competitor now than back then, just simply because of how wrong I was doing things. Because when you're doing things like that, where you're not too sure about what you're doing and you're just guessing kind of thing, it really does kind of limit in regards to how well you can then enjoy the process, especially when you are like really struggling and not seeing the results.
Just to pick off your point quickly, when you stopped training because you didn't enjoy it, just very quickly, how long was the longest break you took, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And what was your mindset in between, and what was let's say the iceberg that made you say, okay, cool, let's get up and go, if that makes sense?
So it was about 8 months, and I'm not blaming people here or anything. It did have a little to do with a coach who definitely was giving me a generic plan. And again, people know me. I say I'm very thankful for the experience, because it also showed me how I didn't want to coach people. Even though at the time I didn't know I was going to be coaching people in the future, it helped me understand I'm never going to be like this. Like that's that kind of thing. Like I developed a bad relationship with food as well at the time because of what this guy was doing with me. And yeah, I developed a lot of the myths and everything. I was doing them all wrong. But because the guy had pro in his status, you know, and I thought because he's charging so much, it must be legit and everything. So that's probably the other big thing as well. Do your research on whoever you work with, people. All right. I know, yes, we say invest in a coach, but please research on who you're going to invest with first. All right. Because I learned from that too. So that was a time where the relationship definitely fell out with training and everything. And it was probably about 8 months where I was like, nah, I'm done with this. I was like, white flag, please. No one talk to me about training no more.
Something I like to touch on just as we finish off is books, right? And I want to make a consistent thing that we'll talk about here, because I had the conversation last time, which was interesting. What would you are you reading any books at the moment, and what would you say your top 2 is, if you are?
So at the moment I'm reading Pursuit of Pursuit
of Happiness.
It's not Pursuit of Happiness. My mind has gone blank, actually.
I was gonna say that's the Will Smith film, isn't it?
I've literally just finished reading The Alchemist.
Do you read or do you audible?
I read. Mainly read is there. So yeah, definitely Alchemist I recommend. Atomic Habits is another really good book as well. I think a lot of people should be definitely on. And also, I'm also trying to remember, I think it's Purpose Driven Life. That's what I'm reading at the moment, but I don't know why I've forgotten the full title. Just double checking here.
Yes, yeah, I don't want to say I can't read, but
so yeah, Purpose Driven Life is what I'm reading at the moment, which is really good book. But Alchemist, Purpose Driven Life, and Atomic Habits, great books that I definitely recommend. I do like to read the actual book itself, because with Audible, I think I find myself, I just rather listen to podcasts, because again, that's something I'll always do. I'm always listening to tons of podcasts out there, especially as a coach. There's so much great stuff out there on podcasts that you can learn with as well.
What podcast would you recommend for a fitness coach?
So again, because it differs in regards to what you really feel like.
No, for you.
Just for me, so Matt Jansen's podcast, honestly, and I know he's on the Raw now, with the Raw, but his old ones as well, definitely get on. But yeah, you can get on the Raw as well. Podcast, I definitely recommend. Christopher Barakat was a great podcast I was going through as well. The Muscle Mentors back in the day, I know this kind of split up now, but Muscle Mentors, very big, great podcast that I recommend as well. I did a lot of seminars with them as well. Like I mentioned.
How do you get into seminars? I've got a few minutes, but you've mentioned seminars a while, and I've been thinking I'd like to connect with like-minded people. You said seminars a bit too much today. How do you get into this? No, I'm dead serious. I'm actually dead serious. How
you got paid for them, haven't you? That's what.
No. What? Do you just type in like what bodybuilding seminars?
No. So to be honest, it didn't start with I was looking for seminars. It was just the people that I was following. They offered these things. So from there, I was like, let me just go to one of these things and what they're like. And like I said, honestly, if you are someone who's really keen on learning, training, the biomechanics, and as well as nutrition, kind of like the whole anatomy and physiology of things, really understanding, especially female physiology, as I work a lot more with female clients as well these days. And you don't know too much about it, and you want to get experience from people who've been there, done that, not only have the science, but also the practical from it. Worked with a lot of these kind of people. It's good to go to those kind of things. And honestly, I know that I'm not too sure what they're doing at the moment, because they're broken up, but I think the Muscle Mentors, those were usually the best ones for me, when I used to go to them seminars. But yeah, other than that, like most of the people you follow, they probably do hold those kind of things. You just have to research into it more, definitely. Okay, and obviously, if they're in your city as well.
Of course. Just last topic to discuss. Pros and cons. When you give out plans, are you looking to go into an app? Are you looking to stick into offline writing? Just last minute, what's your thought process? I know because you would have thought about it, I'm sure of it. What was your deciding factor? And give me a pro and con for each.
So when you say full plans, you mean like basically the whole programming for clients?
Yeah.
So I'm literally with me, everything's pretty much online. So I have a training app for
you do it through an app.
Yeah, training is through the app. And then aside from that, we house everything else in what I call the client hub on Notion, which has everything in there that I've put in there, nutrition stuff as well, and all the other key stuff aspects of that I expect them to be focusing on, any other little content that I expect them to read up on that I know is important. All those kind of things are all put into in the online hub as well. So those are the two main areas. And then aside from there, it's going to be all communication through WhatsApp, through the feedback of the Loom videos I do and stuff like that. Zoom, in regards to catch-ups, we do when we catch up calls, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much how we go in regards to my coaching.
Cool. Last one is just going to be a quick fire round question. I'm going to ask you just give me the answer, no thinking. Okay. Last minute. My protein or USN?
My protein.
EAAs or BCAAs?
EAAs.
Isolate or whey?
Whey.
Knee wraps or knee sleeves?
Sleeves.
Sleeves, okay. Wrist wraps or fat grips? Fat grips.
Yeah, wrist wraps.
Cool. Chest or back?
Chest.
Yes. Yeah, man. That's it. Fucking solid conversation. Muscle Mastermind. We've got Josh here. And yeah, man, I'm gonna put your details down, and I appreciate you spending the time with me, bro. And hopefully we'll catch up. I'm gonna see you at James' show, so probably talk there even more.